Teamster Power 767 Reality Check with Jeff Schenfeld and Garfield Hooper.
Garfield, we're getting right into it. Safety committees.
Yes.
It's safety committees. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of things happening, and we've talked about some things about safety and stuff, but we're going to talk about things again, maybe some more things.
We've we've
First
we've
and foremost,
we've,
yeah,
we've spoken a lot about like the heat stuff and everything going on,
yes, mhm,
especially around the
yep,
summer, all that kind of stuff. But now that we're getting into the winter and we're getting into
yeah,
peak season, and like volume is going to start to get up, and like everybody's just going to be like, just get in your package car and deliver. Just go
yeah, sure,
deliver your 200, 300
yeah,
stops, get your helper, do whatever it is you need to do. But we can't stop being
yeah,
safe, and the safety
no,
committees are going to play a big role. They're going to be, like in our center, we've started mentoring the new hires and
hmm,
stuff like that. Going over things, telling them experiences that we've had, and I think that's a good useful tool for the safety committees to do, especially for the drivers that are just getting started this year. Um,
yeah,
but there's a lot of things that the company does that is against the contract, and even if it's not specifically against the contract, it's unsafe. And just because it's the
yeah.
busy season, just because there's only what, like 17 working days for us between Black Friday and Christmas this year, it doesn't mean that we have to be less safe.
It's important. I think that we need to start off first and foremost is that the safety committees are not the company safety committees. There are safety committees, right? They don't, and we've said this before, you know, the company can ask us to do things in safety. That's up to us if we do it. Okay. And, they're going to try to do things that, are ridiculous. Like, and we've said this before, like do skits, right? Oh, let's just
Oh yeah.
get out of the car and show how to look like a schmuck, like whatever, and it's no, okay, we'll decide on doing something. We're not definitely saying no. I mean, if it's something good, but you're not going to dictate it to us,
No.
And I mean, it starts with them understanding that it's not their safety committee, that, we're going to do things. The safety committees are going to discuss it and decide what's good, right?
Yes.
And, I'll just say like one of the things we used to do is go around and put over 70 tape on the boxes because
Mhm.
that's never done. You know what I'm saying? Oh, where's the tape? I mean, sometimes it's hard pressed to find over 70 tape. And that shouldn't be. I mean, that's someone can hurt themselves.
Mhm.
And, we don't want that. So, I mean, we make sure we went around and, put the over 70 tape, and we did what we had to do. We filed grievances on it. We do everything we have to do. And, most of the stuff is going to be under 18, so
Yeah.
it's important. But what about you? What's something that you think is important?
One of the more important things that was added in this contract was backup cameras on rental vehicles.
Yeah.
Like, where
Hmm.
does it say? Article 18, Section 11. It's under the mirror section. Where available, the
Hmm.
employer will lease or rent vehicles with camera monitor backing system devices or cross view
Yep.
backup mirrors. So
Yeah.
the company has to make the effort to get vehicles
Yes.
that are equipped. And I mean, I can't speak for every center, but I don't know that there's been a Christmas that's gone by, a peak season that's gone by, where somebody hasn't backed into something or wrecked one of
Yeah.
these rentals, one of these big U-Hauls or budget trucks or whatever it is that you have, because
Yeah.
they're like they're so much bigger than the vehicles that we use, that like the
Yeah.
regular
Yeah.
package cars. And it's just, it's something that like we put it into the contract, and like I think it's a good decision that we push the company to be sure that they're renting these vehicles that have all of as much of the safety equipment as we can get on them.
I mean, that's absolutely good. I mean, we're trained on package cars, right?
Yeah.
And then when you want to throw that, and if you're not going to put a backup camera, and then you try to blame a driver, you know what I'm saying? With everything going on with peak and everything, it's just crazy. But another thing we just mentioned kind of together was the red tag trucks, them trying to cut the tags off.
Yes.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Nope. Nope.
And this
We
is
don't do that.
no, no. Well, this is the thing too, and this is where you get the mechanics involved because like I'm
Yeah.
not necessarily going to know what truck is red tagged and what truck isn't. But if a mechanic knows that he red tagged a truck that didn't get fixed or whatever, and all of a sudden it's in the lineup the next day, that mechanic needs to go to a steward and make them aware of what happened, and we can try to figure out how this red tag truck magically got back into the lineup. Because if the
Yeah.
mechanics, the people that this company pays to fix trucks and inspect the trucks felt like a truck was not safe to be on the road, it doesn't need to be on the road. Your on-road supervisor or center manager or whoever made that decision to cut that red tag off and put it back in the lineup, they're not qualified to make that call. And whoever's driving that truck all day is being put at
Yeah.
risk because that call was made.
Absolutely.
So, somebody's ass needs to be in a sling over that. If
Oh
that
yeah. 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 It's I mean, that's absolutely important. I mean,
yeah,
it's you know that we got to make sure that. I mean, I don't think it happens as much as it used to, but it still happens because
yeah,
I was just talking with some drivers about that. It just they tried to, company tried to do it. So, no, that's not going to work. And it's we got to make sure that the company is doing what they're supposed to, just like we're supposed to have a dolly on the truck, right? That's
exactly.
in the contract too. All the tires and everything inflated correctly, and
Specifically, that's
but
Article 18, Section 12.
yep,
All new
yep,
dollies placed into service shall be counterbalanced with handles on the tongue. All dollies in the system will be counterbalanced at 70 pounds lift weight and have handles on the tongue. So
yeah, yep,
if you're
yep,
if and this has happened before, we've gotten dollies with like the U-Haul trucks. They'll bring like the U-Haul dollies, those shitty
no,
U-Haul dollies, and be like, "Oh, here's your dolly. Good luck."
yeah,
Contractually, that's not one of
no,
our dollies. And
yeah,
if we're leasing or 100 vehicles, then the company knows there needs to be 100 dollies because every one of those vehicles, U-Hauls, budgets, I don't know if you've got them, the new the white trucks that are more set up like our delivery trucks.
mhm,
They're those things, they should all have like new nice dollies in them, like or whatever. They should have proper dollies in them for you to work with.
yeah,
Because let me tell
yeah,
you something, there's nothing worse than getting in your truck one day during Christmas with 200 stops, getting to your first couple of stops and realize, well, fuck, I don't have my dolly.
yeah,
For
yeah.
whatever
I mean,
reason.
they have to give you the tools to work, right?
Yes, and that's
Yeah,
and that's on them. If you don't have a
yep,
dolly, and
yep,
and you go, if you notice you don't have a dolly before you leave the building, you go to a soup and say, "Hey, I don't have a dolly. I need one." They can either go
yeah,
get it for you, they can tell you where to go get it, whatever. But
yeah,
they have to
yeah,
provide that dolly. You can't be forced to go out and run your route without the proper equipment.
yeah, yeah. And the problem that we're having in a building is it's always like, oh, I need a dolly, I need a dolly. People are asking for dollies, and there's no dollies to be found,
Yeah.
right? Some of them are locked up, so okay. I mean, whatever has to be done, unlock them. Unlock them with
I mean,
whatever you have to do.
I've personally gone to the mechanics and gotten bolt cutters and cut
That's
people's
what
chains off
yeah,
of them.
that's what I'm talking.
Because
Yeah,
as a safety
it's
committee, because that's like, because here's
yeah,
the thing, and I get people want their dollies and they want to do whatever it takes to keep their dolly safe or whatever, but whether they be chaining in the truck, chaining up against something else like a locker or whatever. But that's not
yeah,
your property. That's the company's property. And if you're not
yep,
there that day to use that dolly, then somebody else needs that dolly. And whether they're running
yep,
your route or some other route, if that dolly's there is available, it's the company's property. And then when you get back, if you don't have your dolly, you put that on the company. You go to your supervisor or your center manager. It's like, my dolly's gone. I need a new
yep,
one. I need you to
yeah,
find me a new dolly.
yep, yep. And I think with the safety committees, I think these are things that are important, right?
Yeah.
They have to make sure the right things are happening, and that the tools are there for us to work with, proper working trucks, tools, everything to work with, because it's like, oh, the tools weren't, the hand cart wasn't working, the packages fell off, I strained my back. Well, that's your fault. No, you didn't give me the proper tool.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to get into that. You
Yeah.
shouldn't even get to that. But you know, with all that being said, I'm going to say one thing, and everyone out there knows who they are. Okay, safety is done before or after your shift. Okay, it's not done instead of your shift, not instead of your job. Because why should you be able to do safety instead of your job, and everyone else has to do their job? I mean, come on, let's that's I can't. When I hear about that, or I see, I just can't. That to me is just, mm-mm, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a no-no. But it goes on, and we got to make sure it stops. There are some people who maybe didn't know, and I had to tell them. I said, and I'm friends with them. I'm like, nah, that's bullshit. I'm sorry, I said it. I said you cannot do that. Okay, so that's important with that. I needed to say that, but again, this is just about the safety committee helping out, making sure the company is, adhering to things in Article 18,
Yeah.
and especially now with the upcoming season, that everything that you have the tools, they're in good working order and everything. So I'm glad we covered this. Safety committees are extremely important. They're vital, to help the members. They're just important. So for myself and Garfield, have a good night.
We all deal with national language, but on this podcast, when it comes to supplemental language, we deal mostly with the southern region. And as always, it's best to get advice from your local stewards or business agents. If you would like to reach out to us with any questions, we have an email address, 767realitycheck@gmail.com. That's 767realitycheck@gmail.com.
And remember, strong people stand up for themselves, but the strongest people stand up for others.